Welcome, everybody. It is the first meeting of April. Can you believe it's the 6th and it's only the first meeting of April? Year's flying by. And we will ring. Okay, good. Let's ring the bell to start the meeting. So here we go. And it's magic.
Oh.
Great.
That's very sweet, Andrew.
Thanks. All right, so here we go. I'm muting everybody, and then Joe, you can unmute yourself. And if you'd like to start our with our invocation.
Absolutely. Thank you. This week, I have been dealing quite a bit with parents, broken-hearted parents, over difficulties with their children. So I thought I would share a prayer titled A Parent's Prayer. Let us pray. Lord, I do not ask you for anything for me. That you would watch over and protect my children is all I ask of thee. As by blessing them, you are blessing me. Please make their lives long, healthy, and happy. And once they are grown, may you bless them with children of their own. Should the day come when they must walk the road without me, I ask that in your mercy, you would see that in my absence, they never walk the path alone. Please never let them forget that they are and always will be deeply loved by me. Amen.
Let's see, Colleen and Miriam have joined us. Justin has a very friendly friend there, and we will move on to Mr. Manel doing our pledge.
Please join me with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Ken. Our patriotic song today. Thank you very much. Oh God, who was it that sent it to me? And now I'm trying to remember. Was it Johnny? Johnny Watson sent this to me. Thank you very much, Johnny. This is beautiful. And I encourage everybody, after you see this, go back and watch the Bach because it's amazing. Is there no sound? Where's the sound? Hang on. I'm going to start this over because I want the sound. Where is the sound? Can you hear that?
No.
Okay. Share sound.
Okay, Andrew, sing.
No, because I don't sound anything like an organ. There we go. Let's see. Oh, see, I just heard it there.
Just a little quiet.
Yeah, just a little quiet. There we go. Let's see. Can I? Whoop. All right. Click to join audio. Let's do that. Ah.
I want the cat again.
Right. I am so sorry on this. Oh. All right, hang on one second here, because this is too good to do this with. So let's see here. Yes, okay, go away. All right, let's take this and let's crank that all the way up. And slideshow from current slide, Alt Tab, Zoom meeting, share screen. Let's do that. And let's do that. Let's see if that's better. Okay, I hope you got to hear that because that was pretty amazing. San Diego Concerts.org is an amazing site. And this guy, he is just, whoops, keep moving. He is an amazing organist. What he does with his feet and his hands at the same time is mind-blowing. But, all right. So here we go. We are welcome back to Zoom. It is the 6th of April. It is the first meeting of the month, which is exciting. And we have Kristen joining us today. Kristen Gaspar is a guest. Ron Smith is on the phone. Kristen Bush, welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. And that looks, are there any guests that I'm missing or any visiting Rotarians? Miriam, hello, welcome. Oh, look at that. No, oh, hello. Who said hello? I missed you, I'm sorry.
He said hi, Miriam. I'm just saying.
Oh, good. And we just had Mr. Fun Guy join us, which is cool too. So there we go. All right. So here's for our guests.
Howdy, we're glad to have you here. Welcome, we sing a loud and clear. Relax, enjoy the program, and won't you come back to see us again?
That's our own humble Bossy. So our upcoming calendar this weekend, we have District Training Assembly. I haven't checked. I hope we have a lot of people who signed up for that. If you haven't yet, this is your last week to do it. Please do sign up. It's real easy. It's a great way to get to know a lot of people, and you don't actually even have to drive down to USD this year. You can just hop on your Zoom and you can enjoy it for free. The 13th, we have Second Serve. The 17th, Ryla is going on. It's also virtual, I believe, this year. Also on the 17th, we're going to have our third hike-a-thon. And the second one was fun this last weekend, chasing Rick down the path with a big old pine tree branch. That was fun. On the 20th, our first of two community grant presentations, second one being on the 27th. And then we have Haven House on the 21st of April. And then DA Summer Stefan is here on the 4th of May. And then Haven House again. Do we have any member moments this week? All right, hearing none, it is now time for Christine to tell us. Yes, I did, Christine. I said hike-a-thon.
Is that required attire?
That's why Rick was running away from me, honestly.
Oh, how funny. Last week it was hike-a-thin.
Yes.
So we've got some fun times ahead of us, I'm sure. This is one of the Rotarians in the wild from last week, future Rotarian. It's my granddaughter Haley at Poway Lake, and she was having no luck, probably because the water was only, what, an inch deep. But they were next to a group of Boy Scouts that were maybe 4 or 5 years older. And they said, look, we've got one on the hook, and let her reel that in and then gave her that fish. So very, very
Cute.
nice, young,
You should have
young
Ron Parker.
Rotarian.
You should have Ron Parker teach her how to fish.
That's it. It's the first time she caught a fish and the first time her mom cooked one and my son cleaned one. So they all had a pretty fun time.
Nice.
This is Mayor Mack. He had the opportunity to do some delivery of Meals on Wheels the week prior to Easter and talk directly with some of the residents. And then maybe he could say a word or two about the environmental pledge. They're working together as a city with Safari Park. Did you want to say something about that, Paul?
It was a really interesting tour. You found that the park is not only working on things that are, help the elephants in Africa, but also things here locally, which was really an eye opener to a lot of us on the tour. And I think it would be worth, when we finally are able to go back and have our annual program there, I think it would be worth listening to.
Great. I'm all for that. Next.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Hello?
I fell asleep for a second
Hello?
there.
Okay, Chirito, you'll have to tell us about this. I called it Dino World, but what exactly is happening? Where did you and Keith go?
I think I would let Keith say something about that. I'm sorry, I haven't got a voice.
Well, we saw this advertised at the Del Mar Fairgrounds, or I guess San Diego County Fairgrounds, and they had animated dinosaurs there in January. Looked pretty interesting, so they brought them back again in March, and you just drive through and learn all about dinosaurs. Something
Well,
safe
are
that
they-
you want to drive through.
Are they going to be part of the race season in May or July? I mean,
I don't know if they'll be back by then or not. No.
that would be Jan. Actually, they probably go about at the same speed as your trotters would, wouldn't they?
And maybe Andrew, you want to speak to this?
Oh, I
guys.
think Alex is in charge of this. Other than I got
right,
to meet
Alex.
Dr. Fauci, he's very cool. Alex or Justin?
Alex, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh,
Yeah,
we want to hear.
that was a fun hike. So it was 77 participants. Let me say that 6 people and a Dr. Fauci.
And you notice they did censor me. That I got a black bar across my face.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and the dog was actually laughing at you because now the human got one of those.
Right? Muzzled. At least it wasn't the cone of shame, I guess.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of muzzles and cones of shame.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was our second time volunteering at the Del Mar immunization site. So at that particular day, I think we immunized 3,800 people.
Oh, very nice.
Mm-hmm. And then Justin, we were traffic controllers. So everything was dependent on us, everything. So
How did you handle the dinosaurs?
the dinosaurs? Justin.
Another parking lot.
Well, they didn't get their vaccination, so they died out.
Oh, we should have known.
Yeah, see what I did there?
Yep.
Beautiful. All right.
As Herb says, do we get it?
Right. Marilyn, it's your turn
My
to
turn.
celebrate the best month of the year.
I'm trying to figure out who that picture is of.
Well, you know, it kind of looks like Jack Raymond, a young Jack Raymond to me, but he doesn't have.
You know, the frown, I do recognize the frown. Well, anyway, in April, we have a bunch of birthdays. We have Paul Van Elderen has already had his birthday on the 2nd. And Fred had his on the 7th. Ione Rummery on the 8th. Ossie Arsenega on the 20th. Paul Brinkman on the 22nd. Our esteemed President Andrew on the 22nd. Jade Olin on the 22nd. Well, we got 3 of you. And then my birthday's on the 27th.
Oh, good.
So
Hey.
my voice is not the best in the world. I have asked Ossie to sing happy birthday to everyone.
Okay, let's do it. Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you.
Nailed it.
All right, Ozzy, there's your cake. I would recommend you turn off your camera before you start licking the screen, okay?
Okay. I'll do that.
All right. Now we get into the meat of the program, and we're doing great on time. I'm very proud of us today. So, Dollar Bill Smith, actually, I gave him a new nickname today, but he pre-recorded this, and I think given the song, he did an amazing job. So, Blake, this is for you.
Blake gets knocked down, but he gets up again. He's never going to keep him down. He gets knocked down, but he gets up again. You're never going to keep him down. Blake gets knocked down, but he gets up again. You're never going to keep him down. He gets knocked down, but he gets up again. You're never going to keep him down. He shoots a hockey puck. He rides a mountain bike. He surfs the biggest waves. He takes some AP calc. His Bible says persevere through everything. He loves his sports and says it ain't no big thing. Blake gets knocked down, but he gets up again. You're never gonna keep him down. He gets knocked down, but he gets up again. You're never gonna keep him down. Blake gets knocked down, but he gets up again. You're never gonna keep him down. He gets knocked down, but he gets up again. You're never gonna keep him down.
Very, very good.
Very creative.
Very good. I mean, kudos. That takes a lot of bravery to make that recording, and you did a great job. Dara, would you like to introduce our speaker for the day?
I would love to, although it's hard to follow that song, I have to admit. Okay, Blake Steinecke is a North County, San Diego native, Cal State San Marcos alumni, hockey player, mountain biker, camera enthusiast, and he is visually impaired. Despite many obstacles and unexpected turns in life, Blake has been able to adapt and overcome to achieve many things he never thought were possible to help change perspectives on the blind community. Please welcome our speaker today, Blake.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. I'll try to keep composure after cracking up to that song. What was the name of the person who made that?
That was the original band was oh God, I can't remember.
Jay Grossman.
No, that was Bill Smith. Bill Smith sang it for you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Chumbawamba. That's who it was.
Okay,
sorry.
Thank you. No worries. No, it's great to be here. I love any opportunity I can get to be able to share my story, reflect all that I've been through, and love all that you guys are doing. It's great to be connected with you guys, have some patriotism and sing the Pledge of Allegiance is always refreshing and takes me back to like elementary school. So it's great. But I just wanted to speak today and share with you guys my story of the unique steps I've taken through my life, just to bring that story more to light, and also just share some takeaways on kind of things I've learned and where I'm at, where I'm going, takeaways that anyone can kind of grow from. But first, I just kind of want to give context to who I am, share my story, share those takeaways, and at the end, would love to do some questions and answers and have a casual conversation at the end there. So as you heard, growing up, I've lived in San Marcos my whole life. I love this area. I've been able to travel a lot, and I know this is like the best place in the world. And I grew up playing so many different sports. I played baseball, basketball, lacrosse, roller hockey, ice hockey, biking. I did so much, and that was such a huge part of my life, and a big part of my identity. And as I grew up with perfect vision, great health, and wanted to, keep playing sports as much as I could, go to college, and just keep living a normal life, and I had dreams of my own. And in my junior year of high school, when I was at San Marcos High School, right before my first semester, I just started to notice some vision loss happening in one of my eyes. I thought it was nothing, and just thought, oh, I probably never noticed that before, because I just closed one of my eyes while reading. I noticed that the other one was a little blurry, and thought, it's probably nothing, but I may as well get it checked out. And so I go to the doctor, and they noticed something was wrong with my optic nerve. Didn't know what it was. And long story short, over those next few months, just had so many different doctor's appointments, so many different tests, and many anxious weeks waiting for results, not sure what was the problem. I was always told that it was probably nothing, and my optic nerve was swelling, and then it would just go away. And so I thought I was going to be fine. But until one day I believe it was October or November, my junior year of high school, I was 16 years old, and I was diagnosed with a condition called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, which I learned would cause me to not just lose vision in one eye, but in both eyes. From there, I knew the news that I would slowly lose all of my central vision in both eyes, that I would become legally blind while still maintaining some peripheral vision. And with this news, it was definitely shock. In that moment, I just kind of want to connect on those feelings, to where when you hear certain things like you're going to become legally blind, you're going to lose your central vision, you're going to live with this disability. I was hit not with depression, but I would say I was hit with kind of a logistical shock on my life, to where I think we can all relate to maybe questions that you guys might think as well, to where, first of all, what the heck does that mean? Without my vision, how am I going to be able to keep up in school as a competitive student? How would I be able to keep up in school to go to college, as junior year of high school kind of sets the trajectory for your life? How am I going to be able to get a job one day? What will I even be able to physically do? How will I keep playing sports? I'm probably done playing hockey, done mountain biking, doing these things that are dangerous enough with good vision. Think through things where, how would somebody want to be with me in a relationship if I had a serious physical disability? Questions like this, I just remembered running through my head. And in that moment of just so much uncertainty, when we can much of the time idolize the control that we have, so much of that control and independency I thought I had and thought I would continue to gain slipped away in that moment. And I was just sat there, and when not much else of like this world seemed hopeful, was just encouraged and knew that God could get me through this, and I knew that there was more to just this world. And throughout the next couple of months, it was just this waiting game for my next eye to become involved. And a couple of months later, my other eye got involved, and I slowly learned what the new normal would look like and what life would become becoming visually impaired. And just a quick technical explanation of my vision. I went from having perfect vision to losing all my central vision to having a large blind spot in the center of my vision that is incredibly fuzzy and blurry. And I really just can't see anything in front of me, which is your most important vision for how you read, how you see color, depth perception, all your acuity is all in front. And then still maintain peripheral vision out on the sides, but your peripheral vision is actually not that great. And it's good for motion and seeing certain shapes. But I have a pretty severe level of vision loss that I will continue to explain more and more. And it was just an amazing experience of slowly unpacking how to just readjust my life. And it is an incredibly complex thing to try to explain, as vision is so subjective. And even if I could give you a detailed description, I can't describe what it's like to live with this for 5 years now, and to where your perspectives on things just completely change. And through that, there were so many things I faced where I wasn't sure how I would be able to continue to do these things. I had no means how, but I knew that there would be a way, and slowly learn to just take one step at a time. I'd like to just start sharing about with school. In my studies, I was always a competitive student, and I remember telling all my teachers about what was going on, and talking with some of them and being like, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to keep up as a good student. And then being told, you're going to be just as competitive of a student, but you're just going to have to do things in a new way. And I think that translated to so many different things in my life. And I was able to keep up in high school and graduate, performing very well and still taking rigorous classes, and was able to continue to go to Cal State San Marcos, which was one of the probably most challenging parts of my just whole vision loss, was just making school accessible, doing the same things just in a new way. But very thankful for all the semesters making Dean's List and graduating magna cum laude, and also getting the award for the marketing outstanding student for the top performing student, just top performing all around student for the marketing program in the business school. It's just something I've been so proud of, and so many moments of doubt throughout that process, but was so grateful to get through it all, graduate, and be working and doing something that I love. And then with sports, those sports were always such a big part of my identity. And I realized that when those things were taken away from me, I didn't know who I was. I found so much of my security in those things. And I learned that we can't find our security in like material things such as sports. But I was grateful to not to continue to play sports, not in a prideful way that's seeking attention for myself, but to have impact for others. And for example, with mountain biking, I'm super thankful that it's something that I've stuck with, as I've continued to ride by using a guide that talks me through the trail. I have someone ride just a bike length or two in front of me, and I can just barely make out their shape and pretty much nothing else of the trail. And they'll talk me through turns, berms, drops, jumps, any features we might go through. And through literal blood, sweat, and tears, I've been able to continue to ride a very technical trail, push my limits. But it's something that people can see, and I think it's an amazing thing to do, but it takes so much just perseverance. It takes a lot of humility from going on my last ride on my own, thinking I could still ride with the vision I had as it progressed, and unfortunately crashing on a rock that I just didn't see was there, hitting my head, getting a concussion. It's just a moment that shook me, and realized as my vision gets worse, I need to change the way I ride. And so many times I would think, why am I still riding? What's the point of this? But it's amazing just through riding and sharing my story with that, the impact it's been able to have to inspire other people, and to now be working in mountain biking for a local company called Tasco MTB that makes mountain biking gear and lifestyle apparel, working in marketing, something I went to school for, studied, and and blending passions together is an amazing experience. And I want to continue to show people, control what you can. When I ride, yeah, there's so much out of my control. I can't see the trail, but there really is a lot that I can control, from the gear I use, from controlling my bike, and just from the perseverance of working hard. It's not, I don't have this crazy innate talent with things. I think it's more of the determination and overcoming the doubts that we can have. And then with hockey, which is probably one of the biggest parts of my story, and one of my favorite sports growing up, I definitely thought I was done with playing hockey when my vision loss happened. But shortly after, both eyes were involved. Both eyes were involved, and I was losing vision in both eyes. I learned from someone else who had my condition about blind hockey. And when I first heard blind hockey, I was like, what is that? What are blind people doing playing hockey? And also I thought, I don't really want to be a part of that. I wouldn't want to play sports with people who have a disability. That's just not me. That was just what my prideful self thought, and thought so many different stereotypes of people who are blind, and people who had a disability. And a quick side note there, I think it's a powerful thing living my life out. So many of the insecurities and doubts that I have to overcome are stereotypes that I used to believe, and then put on myself, and I have to now overcome, and want to work to change that for other people. But my first exposure into blind hockey was when I heard that there was an event in San Jose. And so I just decided, why not go check it out? I went and I played the game, and I fell in love with it and realized that it's the same game I was used to, just with the adjustment and rules that I needed. And quickly learned that there were so many people in my similar situation who grew up playing hockey, then lost their vision. There are so many guys and girls out there who lived normal lives, had normal jobs, families, which I was just super encouraged by, as I still wasn't sure what my potential in life would be with a visual impairment. And basically how blind hockey works is that the puck is going to be a lot bigger, thicker, and it's hollow and metal with ball bearings inside, so that it rattles a lot, so that you can listen to the puck, hear it track around the ice, and you can also see the puck easier as it's bigger, will travel slower on the ice, is black, so it contrasts the ice very well. And what's great about hockey is that the ball or puck, stays on the ground. So hockey is great for people who are visually impaired because we're not throwing something to each other. It's controlled environment with boards, everything in the same place, controlled lighting, everything stays on the ground, obviously unless you're shooting. And then other rules are the goalies are completely blind. They also have a net that is a foot shorter, and they track the puck by listening to it and also communicating with teammates, and do a phenomenal job as well. And then the other big rule is that you have to make one clean pass once the puck is on sides in your offensive zone. Then the ref will blow an electronic whistle, so everybody knows that a shot can be made. And this really just helps control the flow of the game, which is just a good thing to pace things out. Other than that, there's just little things where people who are like higher vision will play offense. People who are lower vision will play defense. But everybody is considered legally blind, which is just kind of like a medical term for like you have to at least have a certain level of vision to play. Because something I did not know before is that there's such a spectrum of vision loss. I used to think people are just totally blind, or you need glasses. And I learned that there's vision loss that happens in so many different ways. And it's an amazing thing to see how that all plays together. And as I realized that I wasn't done playing hockey, it was amazing to travel to other events. And as the sport grew more in the US, since it is only, or when I got involved, the sport was only in the US and Canada. The sport grew enough in the US for them to start a national team. And so back in around 2018, Canada and the US picked people to try out for their national teams, and I was invited to try out for the US national blind hockey team. Was fortunate enough to make it on that first team, and I've been playing on it ever since. And it was a surreal thing for me to go from a place where I thought I was done playing the sport I loved to now in a place where I'm representing my country as a disabled athlete. And it was just such a powerful moment to connect with so many of these guys and such amazing teammates who have pushed me to become who I am today. Who has set examples as amazing husbands, amazing fathers, athletes, people who work as lawyers, professors, even a lobster fisherman. It's all across the spectrum. It's an amazing thing to see, and we've been able to play Canada as in a variety of competitions and to help grow the sport to more countries, growing it to places like Finland, Sweden, England, Russia, and more. And continuing to try to grow despite the pandemic. Also, at the high level, it's an amazing experience to be able to play at such an elite level, to grow myself. But the game is so much more than just me being a great athlete. We do want to grow the sport to the Paralympic level, which I do believe will happen eventually. And with that, we want to be competitive athletes, but the goal when we say we represent our country, we're not soldiers representing our country to protect us, but we're representing our country to be ambassadors for the blind community, to show all that is possible, because what you can achieve on the ice empowers you with a mindset to accomplish so many things off the ice. And it's an amazing thing to be a part of. And locally, it's been awesome to work with the Anaheim Ducks and to help grow a local blind hockey program to get more people involved in the game. And it's a powerful thing to where I always wanted to keep playing hockey, but I never realized how meaningful and impactful it would be. And to now be able to help other people who are visually impaired to join in this game, to find a sense of community, to find a place where you can just talk with someone, connect on a certain frustration, or you can give someone a powerful tip on technology, just to give practical and supportive advice is just an amazing thing to see. It's awesome working with the NHL team to support this game, as a big movement in the NHL is that hockey is for everybody, and it's powerful to see that truly lived out. And just on a personal level, it's amazing to just be an example as an athlete, to where many people can watch me play and look at me play and say, oh, wow, that's amazing. You can do that. I have perfect vision and I can't even do that. It makes me chuckle sometimes because, well, I don't have perfect vision. So apparently vision isn't the factor here. And it's cool to encourage people to overcome whatever obstacle they face, because, not everybody deals with blindness. It's very few people, but everybody has some challenge that's in front of them with whatever it is that they want to do, whether that's hockey or any activity that they're doing in life. Everybody deals with something, and just because mine is more unique, just is more of a reason to set an example for others. And it's been so cool to be able to continue, excuse me, to do these things that I've been passionate about, and also to pick up other hobbies. I've also gotten into surfing since my vision loss, from crashing so much in mountain biking. Crashing in the water while surfing didn't seem too bad, but it's fun to push my potential. I've also been super encouraged to get into using cameras. I've first thought that using cameras would be something that was pretty ironic for someone who can't see well. Like, why would they choose such a visual medium to be into as a hobby? And as I got more into cameras and learned how accessible of a tool they could be, to go travel somewhere, to take a picture, to capture videos, and to come back home and watch it, was such a powerful experience. And it's been amazing to just continue to grow that skill, to connect with companies like Adobe and help with their product accessibility, to want to make change in in the software and these tools so that other people who are visually impaired can access these and tell powerful visual stories to other people through photography, videography, or whatever creative medium that might be. And with all this, and where I'm at right now, it's the most surreal thing to so many things I've doubted I've been able to do. Someday I'm the most grateful for is to also be engaged. I'm going to be getting married, and it's really surreal to have been in a place where so many years just kind of overwhelmed with hardship and just pushing through every day, and things were not always that fun. So many doubts of how I would continue to do things were just constantly over my head, and now to be in a place where being a little on the other side of it, growing a confidence in accepting the new normal of my life, is honestly surreal. Where I've been came from a place of being overwhelmed with hardship to now being overwhelmed with joy, with all the things I have, is an amazing thing to process. And I think just the biggest encouragements from my story that I hope we can all practically take is just to have joy in the hard times. That's something in the Bible that I've always been encouraged by. That's always confused the heck out of me, how we can have joy in hard times and find strength in our weaknesses. And I believe that through the hard times is where we grow our character, is where we grow our perseverance, and it gives us hope for something greater. And I think for whatever hardship we're facing, to find joy in that moment, to know that we're growing through them, and to also know that some of the greatest impacts in our life can be found in our weaknesses, can be found in our limits and that we have in our life. But I also do think that we set limits on our lives that get in our way more than we think. I'm never going to be the person to say that nothing is impossible, but I do believe that we really limit what is possible for us. So I hope you guys were just encouraged, just hearing my story, and are encouraged just to see what continues to happen, because I know this is just the beginning. But I would love to answer any questions that you guys might have. I'm super open to share. I think my last point is, with anyone with this disability, I think there's a weird stigma to not ask a question, but I think questions are the bridges that, like, answers and connection, and most importantly, understanding will travel on. And I think we need to seek to understand people with differences so that we can have a greater connection despite our differences. So, thank you.
Blake, thank you very, very much. That was amazing. That really is. Dara, you have a question.
Hi, yes. Blake, that was fabulous. Very interesting. I actually have two questions. One, what was the impact on your family? How did they deal with this as well? And two, how did you get into public speaking? You're very good, and it was great to hear from you. So I'm curious about those two things.
Yeah, thank you. I'd say, yeah, there's so many angles for family impact. I'd say right in the beginning, it was pretty hard on my family, very rightfully so. You don't want to see that happen to, like, I have one brother, so you don't want to see it to your brother or your son from my parents' perspective. So I think it was definitely heavy news, but I think my family has been the best example of, like, not having me let it be an excuse, to help me always push my limits to where sometimes I want some slack, but always pushing me, always being there to take me to play hockey, to travel for hockey, giving me rides places, spending hours with homework that isn't accessible. Yeah, I think it's been hard initially. I think it's hardest initially for my family. A couple of years into it was hardest emotionally for me when I realized this was the new normal and this is what my life was going to be like for forever, which I'm, like, grateful for and, like, thankful for now. And then now, like, I think we're all just super excited that we have this, like, new, like, gift in a place to have impact in. Yeah, long answer short, but super thankful for my family there. And then public speaking, you know, it's been an interesting thing where, you know, I had to like learn at a younger age how to like advocate for myself, speak up. Like my best friends became teachers and administrators, like in a joking way, where like I'm always talking with all these different administrators, my teachers for the visually impaired and all these things. And if I took it back to one moment, I remember the very first day when I was like, okay, I need to, my vision's getting worse. I can't cover this up. I'm going to start having to use new technology in class. So like, and other people are going to need to be aware. So I was like, I'm just going to get up in front of each of my classes and tell them what's going on. Because like I grew up with everybody, I like knew everybody at school. So I just got up in like first period, share with the class, and then I was like, I shared a couple encouragements, kind of just like my perspective on it. And then like first period, like my teacher's sobbing, like encouraged, and like next periods, like someone comes up crying to me, like I've been dealing with this with my health, and it's so cool to hear you say that. And like all these people, I'm like, this is weird. Like what's going on? And excited for what would happen. And I think I've just had to like learn to communicate myself and what I need in just small settings, which has really set me up to just realize that, I don't know, maybe this is a gift I have, and different media opportunities through blind hockey. I don't know. It's something I'm still figuring out and wanting to grow, but would love to share more. So I hope that answers it all shortly.
All right, hang on a second. I have 3 questions I see, and there's 2 in the chat. Let me ask the chat ones, and then I'll come back and get the 3 people I just saw raise hands. So Ervertos asked, is the condition hereditary, which I do. I've read that part of the bio, so if you can explain that a little bit. But more to the point, I think, of this question is there any possibility for a cure?
Yeah, it is hereditary. It's a mitochondrial genetic condition. So there's DNA in your nucleus and in the mitochondria of your cell, and the mom passes down the DNA that's in the mitochondria. So it's a 100% chance the mom passes it, 0% chance the dad passes it. So I can't pass it down. But technically, a lot of people in my family would be carriers, but no one is affected, which basically means something has to trigger your vision loss. I don't know what that was for me, but I was the first in my family to figure it out. And so, is there a cure? Long story short, no. Are there things that are being tried out? Yes. Have I tried some? Yes. Just to like help be the guinea pig when necessary. Just as there's like the best specialist in the world is in Pasadena. Do I hope for a cure? Like, sure, you know, it'd be good, but I think I used to see everything from a sighted person's perspective, where it's like, oh, if you're not able-bodied, like we need to fix this. But I realize now, like, you know, there's so much I could do. I don't put my hope in getting my vision back. This is, I think, what I've created to do, and I get more excited on improvements in assistive technology. But I think with my condition, it'll be very long down the road for fixing like optic nerve problems or mitochondrial genetic conditions. But other conditions, there's more improvements. So we'll see.
Okay, excellent. And then Jan Jones wanted to know, how do you get around? Do you Uber mostly? Do you, obviously you mountain bike, but how do you get around?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this this past week, as I was like doing a lot of things and getting around. And it's kind of a weird question, because I think I had to like be upfront and say like, you know, there's a lot out of my control, and there's a humility to not being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And there's certain things where it's like, it starts with just not doing certain things you want to. And it also, but you know, to better answer the question, I think it's just having family to take me places, my fiance Amanda taking me places, but a lot of it is just going places with people together. You know, like I play hockey with my dad. Work is close enough to where I can get a ride to work. Or for college, like obviously I went to school with Amanda, my fiance, and my brother. So they were there, but also like it was 2 miles away. So I walked a lot. I ran when I was late. um, Rarely will Uber, and public transportation isn't that great. So it's a weird mix of things.
Christine, then Jay, and then Fred. Go ahead, Christine.
Yeah, actually, it's a little bit of a follow-up. It sounded like your senior year of high school is when both eyes were becoming affected, and that's just about the time, you know, young men get their driver's license. And was that one of the big obstacles for you, or things that you needed to overcome as a young man that, of course, had hoped to be driving?
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing that up. So I had my license for maybe like 6 months before my vision loss happened, and I was not the kid who was like, I got my license and I'm just gonna go everywhere and go crazy. I didn't like have my own car, so I really only drove a handful of times. And once my vision in one eye was progressing and we weren't sure what was happening, especially once I knew that both eyes would become involved, I just stopped driving. I didn't want to get to the point where it's like, it's too sketchy, I'm stopping. I would rather be in control, cutting it off to where, you know, I wish I could drive, but it's kind of helpful where it wasn't a huge part of my life, to where it just kind of feels like you just keep growing up and your parents are still driving you places. So I'm thankful for that.
Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, that was a great presentation. Thank you. 2 questions. Have you had to learn Braille, or do you do audio books as far as your reading? And the other thing is when you're taking a photograph and your central vision is out, how does that work?
Right. So I did learn Braille in high school. Do I use it? No. I'm glad I learned it, but I soon learned that I think Braille is good if you were born with no vision, and that's how you need to learn to read and write. But there's so many good things on audio, like, you know, audiobooks, but there's a lot more to that to make things more accessible there. And then rather than using Braille, which you can also incorporate with a computer, I just rely on magnification of my screen, but more importantly, the screen reading software, which basically will read things on your computer out loud and you control it with shortcut keys. So I heavily rely on that. And I rely a lot on Apple products. Apple has great built-in magnification, as well as VoiceOver, which is their screen reading program. So it's on my phone, it's on my iPad, it's on my laptop here. And so that's like really complex stuff to learn, but I've gotten a lot better at it and I've come to like enjoy it, which is good. And then cameras, I should say the biggest tool is, so I started with a GoPro camera, the small action camera, and then now more so use a Canon camera, like more of a DSLR camera. And then both of those have apps that can connect to my phone, to where I can adjust all the settings for a shot on my phone. And I could also better see the preview for the photo or video on my phone. And then something that I'll also rely on, which is like a little more technical here, but there's a histogram on my Canon camera, which is a graph that tells you the exposure or light values of the image. So rather than looking at the image to know if the light is correct, looking at a graph to tell if that's correct, just taking like the visual things out of it and making it more technical, something that I rely on. And then when I'm home editing things, I have like a big high resolution monitor to be able to really magnify things, and also use other graphs to tell different light values, color values. And that's so many different ways, but that's just kind of like a quick overview of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right,
And
go
also
ahead.
real quick, I'm gonna put a link or 2 links, one to a website I've made just sharing more of my story, as well as my LinkedIn, if you guys wanted to follow up on anything else. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, but happy to answer other questions.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fred.
Jay covered my question. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, see how you are, Jay? Good job. What other questions? Anyone else have a question here? Yes, Ron Smith. This will be the last question, and then we'll move on. So go ahead.
Thank you, Andy. So Blake, congratulations on your spirit and your incredible will to overcome things. It is inspiring, and I appreciate you sharing your story. I'm wondering if there's a thing as an LHON network that you've plugged into, and if you have you met a fellow named Jeremy Pointsina?
Yes. So I am like connected with the LHON community, with just like online support group, or this community, I think is a better word. And yes, I do know Jeremy as well, and he actually connected me with this speaking engagement. But yeah, Jeremy's such an awesome dude, an incredible golfer as well.
Well, listen, if you happen to bump into him sometime soon, tell him Ron Smith said he better up his game, because you're going to blow right by him if you keep it up. And the other thing is, as a bike rider, if you haven't already, you're going to want to get involved in his bike riding fundraiser that he does every summer. And if you do, I'll be happy to sponsor you. Anyway, thank you for presenting today. I enjoyed it very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Really, thank you again, Blake. That really inspiring is hard, is an overused word, but it's wonderful to see how humble you are about it, and talk about the what you've gone through in a way that is very organic, very authentic, and very inspiring. So thank you very, very much, and a great program. Just, you're welcome to come back anytime.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it is inspiring is a funny word, and I feel like inspiring should create not just a nice feeling inside, but should create like a strong action to change something. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
For you.
No, that I think you nailed that dead on. So, all right, let me, I will leave the room open after I close this out, but let me officially close the meeting, and by ringing out the bell with our shower thought. Our shower thought for the day is, what if people staring at you are time tourists who came back in time to see you because in the future, you're famous.
Oh.
So here we go, let's ring out the bell. Oh, hang on. Oh, darn it. I really... There we go. Come off it. This is annoying. Okay. Try this again. Technology is not my friend. There we go. Share sound. Okay, it says share sound. So why is it not sharing the sound? All right. Heck with it. It's an ice cream truck. Thank you. And again, if you want to stick around and chat, Blake, you're welcome to. If other members want to hang out and talk with Blake or talk with each other, please feel free to. In the meantime, we'll see you next week. And again, Blake, I'm going to send, I'm going to get your email from Dara. I'm going to send you the video of the song that Bill sang for you. So
Look at you.
Christine.